Hi, my name's Rick. I am a therapist. I am autistic. I am a veteran. Welcome to Warriors Respite. All right, I want to talk to you about work and specifically why work feels so personal and no one at work is actually being personal with you. If you're autistic, ADHD, have trauma, a veteran, or some mix of those, work can feel like a constant emotional guessing game. You're always trying to figure out, am I doing it right? Am I doing okay? Did I miss something? Why hasn't anyone said anything? Is silence good or is something coming? And the longer you've lived with invalidation or surprises, consequences, the more the nervous system stays on high alert. So here's the core thing I want to say up front. The problem is that you're bad at reading people. The problem is that you're trying to read a system like it's a relationship. And work is not a relationship, it's a procedure. Now, here's what we tend to do we read tone, we read silence, we read facial expressions, we track energy, we look for reassurance. At some point in our lives, not knowing what was happening meant something bad was about to happen. Trauma teaches you that surprises are dangerous. Neurodivergence teaches you to scan for patterns. So, of course, you monitor everything. But here's what systems do systems follow procedure, they evaluate and minimize risk. Systems avoid liability. Systems escalate only when thresholds are crossed. They document, they do not relate. And this is important. That doesn't mean the people in the system don't have empathy. It means empathy is not the operating system, risk is. Implicit versus explicit communication. This is where things really break down. There are two kinds of communication happening at work. Number one, implicit. That's where tone, hints, silence, vibes, you should know, facial expressions. Humans rely on these things socially. And then there's explicit communication, and that's written, what's assigned, it's documented, it's requested, it's measured, it's concrete. What you say is what you mean. Systems only respond to explicit communication. And here's the trap for us we are often hyper aware of implicit signals. We notice everything, we read between all the lines, but the system doesn't register any of that. So we're burning nervous system energy responding to signals. And these signals literally do not exist in the to the system. Just because you sense something does not mean it's actionable. Let's talk about something important. If you're neurodivergent or trauma shaped, you probably see cracks in systems that other people ignore. It's not that they don't see it, it's just that they ignore it. You see where things don't line up. You see where policy contradicts reality. You see where harm is going to happen. You see where somebody says one thing and then they do another. You see where you get in trouble and somebody else doesn't. You see what people are silently compensating for. This is not a social skills problem. That is a pattern recognition. It's a strength, but here's the part no one tells you. Seeing a problem does not obligate you to point it out because in systems, naming gaps creates responsibility. And responsibility without authority equals liability. So when you point out what everyone's missing and you get a blank stare, it's not because you're wrong, it's because you just created a risk. And the systems defend themselves before they defend the truth. This is the survival skill, limited liability. Make yourself a limited liability, not a system patch. That means you do work, you stay within your role, you meet explicit expectations, you document what you're responsible for, and you stop rescuing the system from itself. All communication is written. When I'm told do something or when I ask a question about ethics and my supervisor answers, I want that. Also in writing, send an email. You're not playing dumb. You're not ignoring reality. You're choosing to operate at the level the system recognizes. You're getting you're getting confirmation. You can still see the cracks. You just stop volunteering to be the mortar. Now let's talk about silence because silence at work is one of the most dysregulating things for us. Here's the reframe that calms a lot of people down. Silence at work usually doesn't mean you're failing. It often means you're not a risk right now. Feedback in systems is not about growth, it's about risk activation. If no threshold has been crossed, nothing happens. That doesn't mean the system is healthy, it means it's procedural. If you grew up with delayed consequences where silence meant something bad was coming, of course your body reacts. That's not a weakness, that's conditioning. So, again, documentation. This part matters a lot. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. That's not pessimism, that's procedure. Systems do not remember conversations, they remember timestamps. Verbal communication feels real, it's relational, it feels clarifying, but procedurally, it disappears. So, as I said before, this is non negotiable. Any verbal communication gets a follow up email. Not emotional, not accusatory. It's boring, neutral, and clear. Something like just following up to confirm my understanding from our conversation today. The priority is X and Y is on hold unless otherwise directed. Please let me know if I've understood. Gives room for clarification. And that's always a great way for communicating, anyways, is to ensure that there is clarification. And the email does a few things. It creates a record, it locks expectation, and it moves uncertainty out of your body and back into the system. Documenting isn't distrust, it's translation. Now let's talk about interviews. This starts before you're even hired. Interviews are not conversations, they are structured risk assessments pretending to be conversation. You only need 3 or 4 solid examples. You reuse them. You frame them differently. That's not lying. That's making yourself eligible. Tell us about a time this, and this happened. You take one of your examples and you frame it to that. Then they ask a different question. You take an example, it could be the same one, and you reframe it to the question. That's making yourself legible. Predictability beats honesty. Containment beats depth. You don't need to reveal yourself to be employable. You just need to mitigate risk. One important boundary: safety changes the rules. If there is physical harm, ethical violations, legal risk, clear danger, then you document. You just escalate through procedure and then you protect yourself while doing it. Otherwise, it's not my lane. It's a valid boundary. You say it, you document, you put it out there, you get out. No follow up. You let the system run its process. And when asked, you just answer the question. You don't need better social skills to survive at work. You need systems literacy. You don't need to care less. You need clear boundaries. And you don't need to stop seeing the cracks. You just need to stop volunteering to be the mortar. Your nervous system isn't wrong. And the environment, it's not relational.